My name is Hein. I'm a consultant psychiatrist, and I report about papers we publish in Global Psychiatry Archives. And this is a paper by Kumar and team, and it's talking about a case of impaired subjective organization of memory in psychogenic amnesia. So I don't want to go through this theory, but I just want to go through this case. So he was happy to be part of this study. He was 53-year-old, right-handed, and was a factory worker, unmarried, and was brought by the police. And the person was running around and wasn't informed about that. He had a train ticket in his pocket, and the patient couldn't remember why he had purchased the ticket. He wasn't aware who he was or where he lived, so they could identify him by his paperwork. But when he was seen by a psychiatrist, most of his attention and consciousness, orientation to time was fine. However, he didn't have any good recollection of the events in the last 5 years. He couldn't recognize his mother or his siblings, and he was a bit in a sad mood. But his MRI was fine, as you can see from this paper, from this scan, and bloods were absolutely fine. And the interesting part was that he had problems in some parts of the memory. So he had a very extensive memory assessment, and most of his memory was fine. Verbal learning was fine. He was examined with Raven Standard Progressive Matrices, California Verbal Learning Test, Raise Auditory Verbal Test, Recognition Memory Test, Logical Memory, and lots of others. And what came out of this, and this is the interesting part, so intelligence wasn't too bad, executive functioning was quite all right, the autobiographical fluency was a bit poor for the recent past, but for the childhood it was better. So he performed very bad on semantics, on the meaning of recent past. He wouldn't know the recent prime minister and the one before. At the moment, I think many people get confused about that anyway, but that's a different story. But what you can see that most of the cases he did too badly, but what he did very badly was in the subjective clustering. So that subjective clustering was bad in the California Verbal Learning Test and the Raise Adult Verbal Learning Test. What does it subjective clustering means? So clustering means that if we remember things or have free verbal recall, then we would cluster things or put things in groups. So let's say it that way. If you are asked to remember people from the past, people would then talk about school friends, then possibly about the families, then about neighbors. So this clustering is something which didn't work in this gentleman. And the assumption now is that these dysfunction in the autobiographical memory or recent autobiographical memory has to do something with the organization of memory contents. So that's the new part of this study, which gives a hint of the fact that autobiographical memory dysfunction and might be related to the organization and structuring of the memory and clustering. So I hope you find this case interesting. If you want to read it, have a look at www.globalpsychiatry.co.uk. And if you want to hear or see more of us, you can subscribe to this channel or have a look at the papers in the online journal. Thanks for your interest, and I hope you will be happy to subscribe. Thanks a lot.